3 months ago, I had about 65% plus of agents saying, oh, buyers are worried that they'll make a purchase and then prices will fall. That's now down to only 28%. And this is the first time since November 2021, that these two variables have crossed over. And so FOMO is now greater than FOOP out there. Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another weekly video where I take a little bit of a look at what's happening in the residential real estate market and, of course, with regard to interest rates. Maybe let's just start with interest rates because that one's relatively easy. No big changes. Most of us are still not expecting the Reserve Bank will be easing monetary policy until optimistically the middle of next year. The inflation rate in New Zealand is still way too high at 6%, and although we can see a little bit of a deterioration in the economic outlook, that doesn't necessarily mean, as in is not guaranteed, inflation's going to be falling away all that quickly. That deterioration, a lot of that, of course, would be with regard to the dairy prices falling away, weak growth in China, weaker than expected, less demand than expected. We've seen Fonterra take $1 off their projected payout for this season. Also, fiscal policy, it's looking like it could be a little bit of a problem for whichever party wins the election on October 14, in that the accounts are deteriorating out there. The tax revenue's not quite what Treasury were expecting. We'll get an update on that in maybe a month's time or so. But basically, the outlook for the economy is maybe not. We go back into recession again. No great surge in growth until maybe the latter part of 2024, but a little bit of a deterioration in the outlook, which means the Reserve Bank will be feeling okay, bit more confident inflation is going to be heading in the right direction, but way too early for them to be signaling job done, mission accomplished, and maybe we can start cutting interest rates. That's really a story for next year. Optimistically, maybe we can start to see some of the fixed mortgage rates come down after the election, not because of the election, but in the latter part of this year. With regard to the real estate market, as you'll know, hopefully, I do a number of surveys giving me coalface insight into what the likes of mortgage brokers are seeing out there and residential real estate agents in particular. And what I do is I have a look at the trends. So rather than just look at 1 month's result, it might be up, it might be down, have a look at the direction in which things are moving. And the direction in which things are moving is definitely upward in the residential real estate survey I do each month with REI and Z. For instance, between about February last year and 2 or 3 months ago, only between 4% and 9% of agents were saying they were seeing FOMO on the part of buyers. Buyers worried that if they didn't buy soon, they would miss out, either in terms of prices would go up on them or they wouldn't find something that they want to buy. Now I've got a gross 34% of agents who are saying they're seeing some FOMO out there. It's still below the average for the past 3 years of 39%, so in no way does it say the market is really starting to run away with itself here, but the direction is fairly clear. And at the same time, we've got a fall in FOOP. FOOP, the fear of overpaying. 3 months ago, I had about 65% plus of agents saying, oh, buyers are worried that they'll make a purchase and then prices will fall. That's now down to only 28%. And this is the first time since November 2021, that these two variables have crossed over. And so FOMO is now greater than FOOP out there. Again, it doesn't at all signal that the market is really getting ballistic, but the direction of change is reasonably clear. And also, when I asked the agents which party appears to have the greatest negotiating power when it comes to sales and purchase agreement, and of course for a year and a half or so it's basically been a buyer's market where they are seeing as having the greatest power. Now I've got a net 2% of agents saying, well, it's actually the sellers. So that's basically even out there, moving away from a buyer's market, but I don't really read that overall as a seller's market as yet. With regard to where we're heading, my belief is that the housing market will continue to rise over the next couple of years. Prices will be increasing, but as I would have said in my monthly video a week or so ago, this is mainly a story for 2024 when we're looking at people realising the population surge from lots of foreigners coming in from the rest of the world, easily offsetting the net outflow of Kiwis to Australia, the interest rates falling over 2024, the economy improving in the latter part start of the year, and of course listings going down, and the listings are continuing to fall on average just over 2% a month, the stock of listings. So now at the end of July, the properties amongst which people can pick and choose, the number is down 15% from the end of last year. Auckland's down 20% from its peak. Wellington is down 49% of its peak. So keep an eye on what's happening with those listings. It's going to be tightening up, I'd suggest, even further out there. All the best.